Jeffrey Sandusky, the 41-year-old son of convicted pedophile Jerry Sandusky, pleaded guilty to 14 counts of child sexual abuse on Friday. The plea came a week before his child sex abuse trial was scheduled to begin. In a press release, the Center County District Attorney said he will be registered at the highest tier of sex offender status in Pennsylvania. Jeffrey will have to submit information on his home, work and school addresses as well as his vehicle with state police every 3 months for the rest of his life. Jeffrey will also be evaluated by the Sexual Offender Assessment Board to determine whether he meets the criteria to be a sexually violent predator as defined by the Sex Offender Registration Act. The younger Sandusky was arraigned on the charges in February. Court records filed earlier this year charged Jeff with the 14 counts stemming from incidents with 2 girls who are sisters, including criminal solicitation and corruption of minors. The other charges Jeff pleaded guilty to are as follows: statutory sexual assault, involuntary deviate sexual intercourse, photographing and videotaping minors, and depicting on computer or filming sexual acts. District Attorney Stacey Parks Miller said of his guilty plea, "While we were fully prepared to proceed to trial, today's guilty plea to all charges ensures a significant prison sentence for defendant's solicitation of child sex crimes with 2 minors that once completely trusted him." This outcome also ensures the victims need not suffer the trauma and re-victimization of testifying at trial, and importantly, the defendant will have to comply with strict sex offender registration requirements for the remainder of his life. "We are happy that these girls can move forward and experience a life with adults that deserve their trust," Miller concluded. He allegedly text messaged one girl asking for naked photographs and later asked her for oral sex. The girl's sister, victim 2, said she had sex with Sandusky when she was 15 and he was 37. Court documents claim he had been hired in August 2015. Sandusky's father, Jerry, is serving a lengthy prison sentence for sexual abuse of 10 boys during his time with Penn State University's football team. Jerry Sandusky is serving a 30 to 60-year sentence in Greene State Prison on a 45-count conviction. A timeline of the Jerry Sandusky and Penn State scandal. 1977, Jerry Sandusky creates the Second Mile at State College, a group foster home devoted to helping troubled boys, according to grand jury findings. In 1993, Tim Curley and Gary Schultz become Penn State's athletic director and treasurer and senior vice president, respectively. Penn State Athletic Director Tim Curley, pictured in November 2016, was charged with failing to report abuse allegations against Sandusky. 1994, a boy who was identified during court proceedings as victim 7 meets Sandusky through the Second Mile program. The boy, who was 26 in 1994, said Sandusky touched him in ways that made him feel uncomfortable, most often during car trips or in the shower after workouts. In 1998, an 11-year-old boy, victim 6, returns home from a meeting with Sandusky with wet hair. He tells his mother he showered with the coach, during which Sandusky hugged him a number of times. The boy's mother calls police, and an investigation is launched. In May, Sandusky is recorded by police having a phone conversation with the boy's mother. He admits to showering with the boy, in addition to others who were not her son. In June, the coach promises he will no longer shower with young boys during an interview with Detective Ronald Schreffler. The detective says he contacted campus police Thomas Harmon, who headed the Penn State force, to end his investigation. In 1999, Sandusky retires from Penn State, but he is given an emeritus label. As a result, he is still allowed access to campus facilities, including the locker room, and is given an office. Penn State University Vice President Gary Schultz, pictured in November 2016, told a grand jury in 2011 he admitted to meeting with Curley and Paterno about the abuse allegations against Sandusky. 2000, a janitor, Jim Calhoun, says he witnesses Sandusky engaging in sexual activities with the boy in the assistant coach's shower. The boy, victim 8, has never been identified. The state court system is working on appointing a new judge, but that decision has not been made. In November last year, the school was fined a record $2.4 million for its failures during the Jerry Sandusky sexual abuse case. Federal officials said the school violated requirements about reporting campus crimes and warning people if their safety was threatened. The fine was the result of a 5-year investigation that began shortly after Sandusky's 2011 arrest raised questions about what administrators had known about the former assistant football coach, now serving decades in prison for child molestation. The report said Penn State officials disclosed in June that 45 people have claimed they were victims of Sandusky, who was convicted of abusing 10 boys. The U.S. Department of Education concluded that Penn State largely ignored many of its duties under the 1990 Clery Act. The Education Department found the school violated regulations when it didn't warn students and employees of the forthcoming charges against Sandusky, who was convicted in 2012 and is due in court Friday as he seeks to have the conviction thrown out or get a new trial. In short, a man who was about to be charged with violent crimes against defenseless minors was free to roam the Penn State campus as he